You know, we haven't gone back to Satoru for a while. Struggle against the end. When night came once again. We took turns sleeping into the sunset, but we could barely recover any of our strength. Our food, fuel, and water had been used up. The air inside the shelter cabin... what was that? The air inside the shelter cabin was so dry it was getting difficult to breathe. And when you breathed in through your nose, you felt as if the inside of it would freeze solid. Even though we had coats on and even blankets draped over each of us, they were completely useless in protection from the cold. I couldn't stop my body from shivering like someone severely ill. It was difficult to even move my limbs. Okay. Inside the shelter cabin, all conversations between us had stopped completely. We didn't so much as utter the words, "It's cold." Our discolored lips quivered intensely inside this small cabin shrouded in darkness. Only the sound of our shaky breaths reminded us that we were still alive. Uni, who was now asleep and cuddled beside Yomogi-san, looked almost as if he had stopped breathing altogether. We were all at our limit. I had felt this way many times before, but it wasn't until now that I felt the reality of death drawing closer and closer. The god of death noticed cold and invaded the shelter cabin and was contemplating whose neck would be the first under his scythe. I don't know if the phone call yesterday actually made it through, but even if it had, the rescue team probably wouldn't come for us in this blizzard. I breathed a sigh onto my frozen fingers. Are we going to freeze to death like this? Is there nothing we can do but sit here and shiver this way as we wait for death? To get caught up in this bizarre personality exchange phenomenon and die without understanding any of it? No, no! I tried forcing my voice out, as to make sure I was still alive, but the voice cracked and faded away. I prayed for it in my heart. For hope. For the hope to live on. No matter how small it may be. I wished for a light to reach out to. I wished for a light to lead the way. Without it, we're all going to be crushed by the complete darkness that enveloped us inside this cabin. The 7th day. The day they supposedly die. Countless hours passed. I don't know if the blizzard outside has subsided at all. The snow that had piled up on the roof fell to the ground with a loud thud. Suddenly Meizumi's lips moved. Looks like it's the next day. When I heard what she said, I looked at my watch. Couldn't see very well because it was dark, but it looks like the hands have made their way back to 12 AM. Hey, Yomogi-san. What? You have the newspaper, right? So let's burn that. The newspaper had originally been placed on the shelf, but we had broken the shelf into pieces of firewood and the newspaper had since been shoved under my bed. I reached down and grabbed it. It's gonna burn to a crisp in seconds. We can't use that as firewood. It's fine, just burn it. Her voice was strong and determined, surprising from someone who looked so weak. Uni, who had been sitting right beside Yomogi, shifted his body a bit and glanced over. For some reason he looked annoyed. Why do you want to do that? When she heard the question, Meizumi went quiet for a moment, but then he said, I'm scared of it. She muttered. Scared of what? The newspaper article. It's obviously not real. But it said that we're all going to die today. I'm all going to die today, didn't it? It's a sick joke, and I don't want it around anymore. Even if you burn it, it's still useless. Yuni's voice was strangely calm. Even if you burn the newspaper, the things described in the newspaper won't disappear with it. Because every single word, it's true. Shut up. Stop making such sick jokes at a time like this. Spouting off almost every hateful word in the book, Meizumi pulled the blanket over her head. But it's the truth. Glancing over at Uni as he continued mumbling, I opened the newspaper. I wanted to read it over once more underneath the moonlight, but the moon was hidden behind the clouds. Not even the smallest bit of light made it through the window. It was so dark that I couldn't read the article. Just as I was about to ask for a flashlight, I suddenly remembered something. I took out the VR from my pocket. Turned it on, pushed the switch. The display on the VR lit up and shone friendly. I could use it as a lamp. July 4th, Monday, 2011, Hesai, 23. 3 decomposed body, mainly female corpses found, missing passengers from the HAL crash. An article from the future telling us that we died. Uni said the article's real. Before I probably would have thought it a joke and laughed it off, but things are different now. There's a chance that the Uni inside the cabin is actually the Uni from the future. That's why his words have gained more credibility. This article, it may actually be real. If Uni had nothing to do with Sphere in 2012, it's not entirely impossible that he had brought this newspaper here. I don't know how he could have done it. I don't even know if he was the one who brought it here. But if the Uni from the future is here, it's not all that strange that a newspaper article from the future is here as well. I really do come up with the weirdest ideas, but because I've repeatedly experienced the unbelievable phenomenon of personality exchange, I found myself considering possibilities that I normally find impossible. It's not that I believe him, but I've come to be able to consider it a possibility. I've come a long way, haven't I thought as I smiled bitterly. Right now, I wanted hope. The words in that article were words of despair. But if we think about it another way, I've actually come to gain more information about the hopeless future. The events that will happen today could be deduced from this article. It may even turn out to be a big advantage. Perhaps this is the ray of hope that I've been praying for. If we're going to die anyway, I'd rather keep fighting until die. Even then, I'm really afraid. Afraid of the threat of nature. Afraid of the threat of nature. Afraid of our destiny of death. Afraid of despair. Just a little hope is fine, just enough for me to stand up and face death head on. I want my parents and my friends to look at my death afterwards and say, Cocoro did her best. Okay. Giving myself a slight nod, I began reading the article, so as to absorb every word, every sentence I ran off my life. After reading the article for about 10 minutes, I noticed several very interesting points. Took note for all of them. The bodies were discovered 1 kilometer east of the Mount Cocoro shelter cabin. Due to the bodies of the victims being discovered away from the route down the mountain, the Aomori Prefectural Police investigation into the day of the death will continue. According to the Aomori Meteorological Station, an avalanche affecting Mount Cocoro and its surroundings area occurred on January 7th, 2011 at around 6:53. If the article is real, then at 6:53 we'll all be killed by an avalanche 1 kilometer east of the shelter cabin. Something seems kind of suspicious. So suspicious that even the police were looking into it. Why would we go towards a place like that? It's exhausting just imagining a 1 kilometer long hike through the snow-covered mountain. Besides, we're already at a physical limit. We're about to collapse at any second. So why would we head towards a place like that? In order to go down the mountain? But the article said, well, we were away from the path down the mountain. Just in case, I turned to Yomogi to confirm with him. Knocking on the door of hope. If we wanted to head down the mountain from here, which direction will we go? Yomogi answered with a surprised look on his face. From the entrance of the cabin, head straight forward. A lot of mountain cabins are built facing the path down the mountain. If you follow the path with a compass and headed away from the cabin, you might be able to find the way down the mountain. But none of us even have the strength left to make it down the mountain anyway. I see. I looked beneath the bed. The compass that was on the shelf should also have been moved under here. Took the compass in hand. The door of the shelter cabin faces south. According to Yomogi, the way down the mountain is to head straight ahead facing south. And since we have a compass, there's no way we would be confused about which direction we're heading in. It's baffling that we were able to find the way down the mountain. Would be around 1 kilometer east of our current location. Wait, what? It's baffling that we, who were trying to find a way down the mountain, we found 1 kilometer east of our current location. Plus, how would we have hiked 1 kilometer in all this snow? I don't know if there is something at that particular location, but I do know that we're aiming for when we decided to go there. So it could be rescued. Right now, if it was me, I would do the same thing. To predict what we're going to do next, we just have to listen to our hearts. There's no mistake. The reason we were heading there was so we could be rescued, because our biggest goal, or our only goal, is to go on living. Then what exactly is there at the place where we were killed by the avalanche? Let's go to location X, 1 kilometer east of here. Why would we head towards location X to be rescued? After thinking about it for a bit, I came with one theory. It's because... could there be relief supplies? Could there be a rescue team? Relief supplies. Is it because there are relief supplies? Last night, Yomirugi-san and the others said they ran out of the shelter cabin because they had seen a helicopter. If we can take what they said to be true, someone risked their lives flying a helicopter into Mount Cocoro during the blizzard. Knowing that a helicopter can't possibly land safely during a blizzard. Think about possible reasons for flying in such dangerous conditions, the answer is clear. The reason the helicopter risked that conditions is to fly towards a mountain where it can't land. It's to drop off rescue supplies. That's probably what the rescue team was thinking. If there were survivors who made it out of the plane crash, then their rations of fuel would be depleted by now. If things went out like that, the survivors would perish. But because of the violent blizzard, the rescue team can't do anything. Still, even then, they can't abandon those waiting to be rescued. That's why they risked their lives flying the helicopter. By dropping rescue supplies for the air, the survivors could hold on for just a bit longer. Then while the blizzard subsides, the rescue team could then be dispatched. But it was simply bad luck. The blizzard was just too strong. Because of that, they couldn't drop the supplies near the shelter cabin. So believing that the supplies would be noticed by the survivors, they made the drop at location X. This hypothesis seems to fit. At 6:53 on the 17th, we headed towards location X. There's no mistakes, we went there for the same reason that I just concluded with this case. We deduced that the drop point is 1 kilometer to the east of the cabin based on the direction the helicopter was flying in. Even though I didn't see the helicopter yesterday, the helicopter most likely passed the east. That's why we in the future headed towards location X at the dawn. And in the end, because of that decision, we were all killed by the avalanche. But it's not the same this time. Thanks to the newspaper article, I reached the hypothesis at midnight. I know that at 6:53 there will be an avalanche 1 kilometer to the east of here. I know at that time we will be killed by the avalanche there. In other words, if we arrived at location X earlier than 6:53, we'll be able to collect supplies. And without getting killed by the avalanche, we can get a hold of the rations. Found it! The newspaper article from the future they were all scared of, but now I'm able to take advantage of it for our own benefit. I was pretty excited about my own deductions. Felt as if I had fought against fate and won. The flame of hope burns in my chest. I can even feel strong enough to returning to my hands and feet, which up till now could only shiver helplessly. We can do it. We can save ourselves. No, we will save ourselves. I wanted to let Yomirugi and the others know about my deductions, but I quickly shut my mouth. The hypothesis I had come up with now is based on the assumptions that the newspaper article is real and Uni is actually the Uni from the future. Just making them believe those two assumptions would take until dawn. Plus, when I asked Uni whether or not he was the Uni from the future, he became frantic and worked up. If he lost control once again, it could cost him his life this time. Furthermore, if I told him, by the time I explained everything, and we finally left for location X, it would be dawn already. If that's the case, our fate would turn out exactly like in the newspaper article. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. A small puff of white breath rose in the air. Okay. Gathering my will, I got to my feet. With everything I've got, I try to put strength back into my weakened hands and legs. My body is shivering and grown less pronounced. Perhaps my body is being warmed by the flame of hope. Placing the compass into my coat pocket, I grabbed the flashlight lying beside the stove. Putting on my gloves, I stood at the entrance of the shelter cabin. What's wrong? I'm going out for a bit. Going out by myself to look for location X. That would be best for us now. What are you saying? Yomirugi's surprised tried to get up, but with Uni lying listlessly against him, he couldn't quite make it. Move it a bit, Uni. Yomirugi tries to stop me as he moves Uni out of the way. Fuyukawa, don't do it. Suicide, there's a blizzard out there. It's true that there's a blizzard out there. Under normal circumstances, going out there would indeed mean certain death. But I'm not like that. I'm going because I want to live. If the scythe of the god of death is waiting for me there, I'll try to evade it. Even if I have to press on through the blizzard, even if I have to expose myself to danger, I want to save everyone. I'll be back soon. I found a way that may help us all survive this. Yomirugi finally pushed Uni to the side and began making his way towards me. He reached out his hand and tried to grab my shoulder. What are you saying? Hey! Faster than Yomirugi could stop me. I burst out of the shelter cabin and raced towards the snowfield of the night. But wait! Yomirugi's voice rang out behind me. Please wait for me! I called out through the violent winds that disturbed the snow. It was dark outside. In the darkness and the storm, with the towering peak of the mountain to the east side of the cabin in my sights, I began moving forward. The Promised Land. Cutting through the darkness of the night with the glow of the flashlight, I advanced. The roaring of the wind echoes in my ears. The furious dancing of the snow covers my field of vision. My whole body is already gone numb. Dull pain permeates the skin exposed to open air. I just pushed my way on through the snow, continuing to move forward. The slope wasn't too steep. In any other circumstances, it would be a rather easy climb. But with my strength at its limits like this, it's still quite a tough climb, preferably to a sheer cliff like that. It may be. I resolved myself to think more positively. After trudging up the hill for a while, the ascent suddenly ended. I'm at the summit. I can't see well through the darkness of falling snow, but it's all downhill from here. From the shelter cabin, it was 1 kilometer east. That's what the newspaper article said. I checked the compass. This is the right direction. I mustered my resolve and began the descent. Halfway down the slope, doubts began to cloud my mind. Are the actions I'm taking the right ones? I thought that by going down at location X, well before the time written in the newspaper, I could avoid the tragedy to come. But there is a but. Was heading to location X a bad idea to begin with? By going there, am I going to make what the newspaper foretold a reality? Would it have been better for me to stay away from location X? No, it's wrong. It's definitely wrong. I'm trying to set right what once went wrong. I'm trying to change fate. I'm trying to sever the chains of this tragedy. I really believed it. I shook my head back and forth repeatedly, as though to throw off my anxiety. It'll be alright. We'll definitely survive. After descending for a while, I began to see sparse trees. Beyond the trees, deep darkness spread out like a bottomless hole. When I used the flashlight to try and illuminate the way forward, the light made the snow clinging to the trees glitter eerily. I was scared. The early anxiety visited me again. An accursed history, a fated death. But we will be saved. We will survive. I stepped forward once more. The snow was thick. Even taking a single step was difficult. In places where the snow was deeper, I stepped in and was buried up to my thighs. If I stopped concentrating for even a second, I'm afraid I was going to slip. But as I advanced with determination, I found an easier way to proceed. If you move your legs after pressing the snow with your entire body, you can walk faster. Come to think of it, when we first went to the crash site, I think Yumogi walked like this as well. Is this the so-called rustling? Using my flashlight, I illuminated the watch on my wrist. It was a little past 1 o'clock. The walking speed of a normal human is around 4 kilometers per hour. In my case, my state of depleted stamina has been walking at roughly 1/4 the speed. Walk by 1 kilometer, I'd have to push on for 1 hour straight. Just thinking about it makes me want to faint. My strength continues to drop. My limbs are sluggish, heavy like logs. Moreover, sometimes I'm assailed by a strong vertigo. If I crouch down, I feel like I won't be able to get up again. If I stop moving, the place where I stand will become my grave. I won't lose. Like hell, I'd let myself be defeated. Cutting through the darkness and the snowstorm with the light of the flashlight, trying to mute the voice of terror within my mind, I advanced through the snow. Was it around 30 minutes after that? I was too tired, I crouched down on the spot. My remaining strength was nearly gone. Not that I have any spare energy to keep walking. But even if I do reach location X by some miracle, will I still have the energy to go back? Besides, I still hesitated. Should I head to location X? The world given birth to by my actions, will it be a heaven overflowing with light? Or a hell engulfed in darkness? Can I repaint history? Or will I merely repeat it? Which is it? What awaits me on the path ahead? Thoughts of my own strength, now at its very limits, crossed my mind together with a tinge of anxiety. What should I do? Should I retrace my steps? If I go now, I can still make it. Somehow I knew that. Keep going. No, I can't get discouraged here. This is my last chance. I desperately recharged my flagging spirit and pushed my way through the snow. A step. A step. Another step. I steadily advance. Thanks to the uninterrupted downward slope, it was easy to move my feet, but conversely, I feared I would slip at any moment. With every step I take forward, the accumulating snow hardens and falls in. If I make one wrong move, I'm dead. Clinging out the trunks of the trees, I carefully descend the mountain, heavy faith in the hope that I will live until I reach it. Before I realized it, panting, I had begun to mutter at delirium. If there's a God, somehow, please. I won't ask you to save me, but please, please watch over me. I'll do my best to save everyone. I'll do my best so... I'm neither an atheist nor a person who can actually believe in God, but now I couldn't help but say those words aloud. The things I'd gotten involved with, both at the shelter cabin and Sphere, made my head spin. In my head, almost like a divine possession, the idea had arisen that all of this was due to the machinations of God. If there is someone watching my struggles from above, I wanted to say, I'll fight. An unbreakable resolution I wanted to fight. So it's not like I'm asking you to please hold out a helping hand, but just please be kind enough to watch over me. But I knew God was cruel. Determined fate. An hour had passed since I'd started walking. By my own estimation, I'd walked over 1 kilometer. Suddenly, the grove of trees came to an end and a small open area appeared in front of me. It's too dark to see from here, but it seems that the ridge gets steeper from here. The avalanche probably originated at the mountain's peak. According to the newspaper from the future, we were killed by the avalanche at the spot. However, there is still time before the occurrence of the avalanche. Where are the emergency supplies? My vision was poor due to the snowstorm. I used a flashlight to illuminate my surroundings as I frantically searched for the emergency supplies. They must have been dropped using a parachute. I'm sure they'd have used colors that would help it stand out. I searched with all my might, but they're not here. The emergency supplies, they're not here. Completely aghast, I sank to my knees. Was there any error in my reasoning? Or had it not been reasoning, but merely a delusion from the start? Then, why did we come here in the future? Why? I don't know. I didn't know anything. Only the reality that there was nothing at this location next was thrust before me. God is so cruel. I thought it from the bottom of my heart. He gave me hope and then snatched it away again mercilessly. Bit by bit, it began to snow harder. If I stay in one place like this, I'll die. I searched a bit longer. No, I can't. I can't give up. There was no way I could just turn back when I'd finally found the resolve to come here, facing death every step of the way. If I go back now, sooner or later we'll all probably just die. In that case, no matter what danger I have to face, it'd be better to search for the emergency supplies. I needed to take that gamble if it could raise our chances of survival even the slightest bit. I stood up. I walked into the grove with a flashlight in hand. Maybe they were caught in a tree? Or maybe they got buried by the snow. Carefully combing the area, I searched for the emergency supplies. The blowing snow and the wind began to increase in force. My vision was gradually going white. Where are they? Where are they? I continued to push my way through the snow, feeling as if I was about to cry. I had been at it for an hour when I suddenly heard a voice. Hey, Fuyukawa-san! Yomogi's voice? What is he doing here? Thinking it was just an ordinary hallucination, I looked around frightened. Fuyukawa-san! No, it wasn't an hallucination. I'm sure I heard it. Yomogi-san, are you there? My vision being obscured by a veil of snow, I relied on the light from the flashlight to search for Yomogi. Suddenly, he appeared from within the snowstorm. Staggering, he walked over to me. Yomogi-san. Thank goodness I found you. Why are you here? I'm here to bring you back. It's suicidal to go into the mountains at night. I was following your footprints, but some things happened to slow me down. Yomogi forced his whiskery face into a smile. Let's return to the shelter cabin. Before the snowstorm gets on. In his midst of laughing, he suddenly dropped to the snowy ground. Eh? Yomogi-san, what's wrong? As I helped Yomogi up, I gulped. There was a deep laceration in his leg. Oh! When I looked closer, I saw traces of blood on the snow where he stood. As if telling me not to worry, Yomogi waved his hand. I messed up a bit, losing sight of your footprints. I slipped when searching for them again, and as my bad luck would have it, there was a branch that was sticking out. I'm not qualified as a pro. Ugh. His face distorted in pain. The wound was fairly deep. It's my fault, isn't it? Because I selfishly left the cabin on my own. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I felt like I was about to start crying from my own stupidity. Not only did I not find the emergency supplies, but because of me, Yomogi has been injured. Don't worry about it. But let's go back to the cabin. before the snowstorm gets even stronger. While you still have even a little strength remaining. Yumerugi's eyes stared into mine, full of strong determination. Alone. Alone? What are you gonna do, Yumerugi-san? I'll only slow you down. That's why you need to leave me. No way. There's no way I can do that. Just go. Yumerugi yelled in a voice powerful enough to make me doubt that he was wounded at all. I flinched reflexively, faltering. If you stay with me, you won't be saved. Go back alone. I made gashes in the trees on the way here, just in case I lost my way. If you use those marks and a compass, you should be able to return safely. So hurry up. I shook my head like a spoiled child. No, I refuse. Now's not the time to act selfishly. I'll refuse no matter what you say. I won't leave you behind, Yumerugi-san. For Yumerugi-san to die because of me, there's no way I'd be able to bear that. Then monkey it! No, that's not what I mean. Yumerugi looked troubled. Please listen to what I'm saying. It's not like I'm telling you to leave me die. I don't want to die either. It happens often in the mountains. When someone's injured, they make a cave in the snow to set up a bivouac for them and live in there. And then you can just tell the rescue team about this place when they arrive. It's a little know-how that can save us from all getting wiped out. But... I looked at Yumerugi's leg. The bleeding seemed to have stopped for the most part, but a trickle of blood continued to ooze out. Even I could tell that he wouldn't make it until morning, left here alone. Even I could tell that he wouldn't make it until morning if I left him alone. And on top of that, if I left him here, Yumerugi would get caught up in the avalanche. Today at 6:53 a.m. Wait, a.m.? What time is it now? That avalanche will occur. I placed my hand on Yumerugi's side and tried to help him to stand. Fuyukawa-san. I'm taking you with me. Let's go back together. How many times must I say before you understand? I won't, no matter how much times you say it. You may be right, but I just can't do it. There's no way I could. No matter what, I couldn't just leave him here after getting involved in the reckless action. Yeah. If you don't come with me, Yumerugi-san, then I'll just stay here as well. Fuyukawa-san. Putting strength in my unsteady legs, I tried to help Yumerugi stand up. However, my knees gave out instantly, causing me to stumble. I have no power to put into them. It's fine. This much is no problem. I slapped my shaking knees repeatedly. Please do what I tell you. I gritted my teeth and once again helped Yumerugi to his feet, wiping away my tears. Let's go. Uni and Maizumi must be very worried as well. I said that to him as proudly as I could. Yumerugi shook his head in resignation and leaned against me. I passed him the flashlight. I supported Yumerugi as he shone the flashlight forward, and together we advanced in the snowstorm. Helping the injured Yumerugi walk was harder than I had imagined. It was fine when we were on level ground, but once we reached a sloping hill, it became hard to continue forward. Even so, I supported Yumerugi with all my strength and began climbing. Relying on the trail markings that Yumerugi had made, we pushed up the hill at a crawl. Fuyukawa-san, as I thought, it's... No way! A wave of fatigue washed over me, and I was struck with a sudden vertigo. It was difficult to move my arms and legs. Yumerugi's weight against my shoulder felt heavy with each step I took. The snowstorm was getting even stronger. My vision began to close in as well. Wanting to perform it with the compass, I reached a hand in my pocket. At that moment, the snow under my feet collapsed. Yeah! Whoa! My balance lost, we tumbled into the snow. My body rocked as though I had been caught and shaken hard by a giant. I screamed, but even that sound was absorbed by the snow. I fell down the slope of the snow-covered hill. What the hell? Buried in the snow, I slowly began to lose consciousness. Cocoro? Is that what he's trying to say? I heard a voice from somewhere. Goron! Is that Uni's voice? Am I already dead? So is this just a dream? Cocoro! Oh boy. I slowly opened my eyes, feeling something shining intensely upon me. From within the snowstorm, a strong light was shining down on me. Cocoro! Uni was standing right here in front of me. His clothes were covered in snow. Thank goodness you're alive! Cocoro! Tears quickly started to well up in those perfectly round eyes. Why are you here, Uni? The one who answered wasn't Uni, but someone else. You guys were planning on climbing down the mountain by yourselves, weren't you? Meizumi-san. If you think you can fool me, you've got nothing coming. Through lips that had turned purple and trembled with the cold, Meizumi ground out her complaints. Well, I suppose I have to congratulate you for being smart enough to make those remarks for us to follow. That wasn't... I tried to raise my body, but at the instant a violent surge of pain ran through my right leg. Urgh. Don't move it. It looks like the bone's broken. I squeezed my eyes for a while to try to endure a bit. That's right, where's Yomogi-san? He's sleeping all cozy right next to you. It looks like he's lost consciousness. That might actually be pretty bad. His body's as cold as ice. Izumi's shoulders slumped and a small sigh escaped her. This might be her way of showing that she's worried. Yomogi was sleeping behind me. His face was as pale as that of a corpse. The wound on his leg had completely frozen over. Yomogi-san. Still shivering, Meizumi opened her mouth. And how do we get down the mountain from here? That's what you came here to do, right? That's not... If we had wanted to go down the mountain, it isn't in this direction. I suddenly noticed the night sky was getting brighter. Dawn was near. I looked at my watch. The hands pointed to 6:53. Eh? My vision blurred. The ground that had been supporting me disappeared. Zero gravity. No, this is an earthquake. Unbelievable high vibration. Felt almost as if heaven and earth were becoming inverted. I can't stand up. It took everything I had just to cling to the surface of the earth. It was enough to make me wonder if the entire world would break apart, but before long, it settled out as if disappearing. The surroundings quieted down as if nothing had happened. No, to be more accurate, the sound of the snowstorm continued as before, but to me, it felt like all other sounds had been swallowed by the earth. In a daze I sat there petrified, and then the time came. Run away, you two! Get away from here! What are you saying? An avalanche is coming! What? Cocoro! Uni tried to lift me up. I looked in this direction of the ridge. White smoke was approaching with raging force. Oh boy. Uni, run! I pushed Uni in the direction of the grove of trees, and at the same time I was swallowed by a huge wave of snow. The moment it hit me, I saw it. Uni had fallen into the shadow of a large tree. As I was blown away by the enormous impact, I prayed for Uni to be safe. Oh god damn it! In circular God damn it!